Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 204, Lysis 204e to 205a. Hippothales is about 15 years old, and he is lusting after someone younger than he is. And Lysis is about 13 years old. So we know that Socrates is up to something when he explains that he knows that Lysis is young because he hasn't heard the name Lysis before. Even if we assume that Socrates is telling the truth and really hasn't heard the name Lysis before, this still is a bad explanation for the way he has concluded that Lysis is young. By adding this new observation about the name Lysis, Socrates has opened up the conversation and has enabled Ctesippus to talk about the family of Lysis. And this is exactly what Ctesippus does. Ugar panu efe ti autu tunoma legusin, al eti patrothen eponomadzeta ideatos fodraton patera gignoskestai autu. For people don't exactly speak his name, but he is still called after his father, through his father being extremely well known. It was usual for a Greek to have a personal name and a patronymic, the name of his father. For example, Socrates is called Socrates, the son of Sophroniscus. And in earlier years, Socrates may not have been called Socrates at all by most people, but simply the son of Sophroniscus. This is the patronymic. Ctesippus continues, Epe eu oid hoti po ludes to eidos agnoen tu paidos. For know well that you are far from not recognizing the appearance of the child. By appearance, I'm translating eidos, and we have seen eidos in other dialogues already. This is from the same root as the Latin video, I see, and in Greek the word idea. In early Greek philosophy, idea was the general aspect of a thing, while the eidos would be a particular aspect, and there would be several particular aspects together making the whole general aspect. For example, furniture would be the general aspect, of which chairs, tables, and so on would be the particular aspects. This isn't the meaning here. What is more likely is that we are supposed to understand eidos as the figure, the beautiful figure of the child. And the figure could be the entire body or just the face. It's a very general term, to eidos, and we shouldn't translate it in one way and assume that the other ways are not applicable. Basically, Lysis is very recognizable simply from the way he looks. He has outstanding beauty. As Ctesippus goes on to say, Hikonoskar kai apo monu tutu gignoskestai, for he is capable of being recognized from this alone. I would say that from this alone we could conclude that Socrates already knows Lysis. He doesn't miss a handsome youth, not because he lusts after handsome youth, but because handsome youth are lusted after by slightly older boys, and Socrates talks to them all the time. Legesto endego hutinos estin. Let him be said, I said, of whom he is. This is a mock formal way to ask who his father is. Democratus efe tu Aixoneos, ho presbyteros huos. He is the oldest son of Democrates of Aixone. Aixone is one of the demes of Athens. Aixone itself is on the coast in southern Attica. It doesn't really matter because it is now simply a political unit, and the Athenians are divided into 30 demes, which all bear equal responsibility for the conduct of the city. Democrates is one of the rich nobles in Athens, and Socrates is very well aware of him. Again, if Socrates is well aware of Democrates, it's not very likely that he is unaware of his oldest son. It seems to me that Socrates is playing down the importance of Lysis and playing up the importance of his father. Socrates does this as he turns back to Hippothales. Eien endego, O Hippothales, hos genaion kai neonikon touton ton ero te panteche aniures. Well, I said, Hippothales, what a noble and youthful lust object this is that you've found in every way. Actually, so far we only know that this lust object is handsome, noble, and youthful. When I say noble, I mean well-born. Lysis is of the aristocracy, and therefore is treated very well. He is bathed and he is dressed well, so of course he is going to look outstanding compared to ordinary people in Athens. At the same time, beauty did seem to run in that family. His grandfather is also famed for his beauty. Kaimoi ithi epidexai ha kai toiste epideknusai, hina edo e epistasai ha chre erasten peripaidikon prosauton e prosallus legen. And come, show me the things you show these people here as well, so that I may see whether you understand what things a luster should say about his paidika, darling, to him and to others. Socrates is picking up on the fact that, as Ctesippus said, Hippothales spends his time writing poems and speeches and praising Lysis with every breath and keeping all his friends awake. Noticeably absent from this description was anything about Hippothales talking to Lysis himself. Socrates, having heard Ctesippus, knows this. If he were serious about his question, he could expect the next few hours to be taken up with poems and speeches and all sorts of praise about Lysis. This would serve no purpose whatsoever. We may presume that it was already clear to Socrates that Hippothales is embarrassed about what he has been writing, and he is unwilling to tell Socrates. Touton de ti efestathma, O Socrates hon hode lege. What are you taking seriously, Socrates, he said, of the things this person is saying? Hippothales refers to Ctesippus, his friend, as this person. Poteron endigo kaito eran exarnos hu lege hode. Are you denying, I said, even the lusting for the person that this person says? Uk egoge efe ala me poien esta paidika me desum graphen. Not I, he said, but not producing or composing for my darling. So Hippothales cannot deny that he is lusting after Lysis, but he does deny writing poetry and writing compositions for his lust object. Lusting itself is acceptable behavior in Athens, but lacking self-control is unacceptable behavior, and Hippothales seems to be suitably embarrassed in the presence of Socrates. Uk hugiaine epheho Ctesippus, alale reticae mainetai. He isn't healthy, said Ctesippus, but he's delirious and mad. Ctesippus has no trouble exposing the follies of Hippothales to Socrates. Does this mean that he doesn't like Hippothales, or that he is actually concerned for his friend? Ctesippus may be speaking in jest, but as we know, many a true word is spoken in jest, and when he says that Hippothales is mad, we should take that seriously as a possibility. I'm not saying that he definitely is mad, but this does appear in a dialogue, and the least we can say about Hippothales is that he appears to be mad to at least one person, someone who knows him quite well. One of the manifestations of this madness is quite probably the fact that Hippothales is neglecting his friends. They may all have lust objects in that wrestling school, as Hippothales suggested, but they are not obsessed and they still react to each other. They still consider the other friends. But Hippothales is completely obsessed with Lysis, and it seems that this might be bothering at least Ctesippus, if not the other friends, but I think it bothers them as well. This is hinted at by Ctesippus, who points out that Hippothales bothers all of them with his praise of Lysis at all hours of the day and night. As for Socrates, we may now hypothesize that he knew that Lysis would be in the wrestling school and that Hippothales would be outside, because he knew that Hippothales is lusting after Lysis, and he has engineered this entire conversation. He came deliberately from Academy to Lyceum in order to meet the youths outside the wrestling school, which his friend Mikkos has just opened, and today is a day of celebration.